Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. So I thought I'll try something new going on every Sunday evening. Since we have a week ahead of us, I thought we'll lay out what's going to be there for us as value investors in the week ahead and maybe look at it as something as a ready reckoner for the week ahead and what you should be keeping an eye on, if you should be keeping an eye on at all. So that's the impetus of this video. By end of this video, hopefully, I would have touched upon some of the stocks and companies which is there in our consideration list. I would have kind of taken some broad strokes on what's happening globally and what the implications are locally. That is the point of this video. So by end of this video, I hope I've been able to convey all this. And I would love the comments to be there to tell me and guide me to how to help you out better by telling me if you found this kind of an idea informative, if you found it useful, and what more I could add or what maybe can be removed as it gets relevant. So let's see how this experiment works out as I jump into this. The most interesting news was Warren Buffett's news, which came out last night, which is that he's been selling positions in Apple for some time. We know about this. And he's acquired new positions in Domino's and Pool Corp, and increased his positions in Cirrus XM Holdings and Helico Corp. And he's continued to reduce his positions in Bank of America and Apple as he's exiting Floor Decor Holdings, and his top holdings are still Apple. So this diversification is of interest to us as investors. We are not trying to copy Warren's style of investing. We're not the size of Warren. And two, we're not in American markets. Most of us are sitting here in India, and we're investing even in American markets from there. So if you look at it in that sense, we cannot copy whatever Warren is doing, but it gives us insight into what he's thinking. So what this thinking does show is he seems to be pivoting in his strategies of what he thinks the future is in the near term with the new Trump administration. And we can try and read into his tea leaves and see what he's trying to do. But then again, I want to caution that and put a caveat saying this is purely our own assumptions and our own readings. It's not like Warren is coming out and saying anything, or he sent out a press release on this. This is purely on people keeping a track on him by sitting over his shoulder and trying to see what he's filing. So that's all this is. So does it really garner so much attention? I leave it up to you. But it is curious that he is taking positions in Domino's and Cirrus XM Holding is an online radio platform, and I feel that he sees there's a pivot in the media landscape post-Trump election. See, this purely speculation that all this podcast and all these kinds of radios, and this is where the media market is moving towards. So maybe he thinks that, and he's taking a position by adding some more shares there. Domino's Pizzas is something curious. I would like further to understand why he would have taken Domino's Pizza. That I'll definitely ask my brother about when I catch up with him and come back to you on why Domino's Pizzas might be of interest to him. Other than that, what other interesting thing about it is, if you see his holdings pattern, which Rupesh should have put up the pie chart on the screen, you can see Apple is still 26.24% of his holdings is in Apple. Then it's followed by American Express, Bank of America Corporation, Coca-Cola, then Chevron Corporation, then Occidental Petroleum, followed by Moody's Corp, then Heinz, then Chubb and Davita. Then finally we land at the end of the pie, which is the others. So if you really look at it, he has not made as a dramatic move as the media is playing it out to be. He's still heavily invested in his old war horses, and he's not left them or abandoned them. It's just that he's trying to see opportunities, and wherever he sees opportunities, he seems to be taking it. And he does also feel the market is on an extreme high, and maybe he's cashing in his chips. Could be. But this is where Warren stands. And since it came in the news, and we follow Warren here, I thought I'd share this with you. Other than that, it really does not bode for any strategy falling out into the week. So it is more of an incidental information which you can keep stored in your mind. And if you garner any more information or you have any analysis to add to this, put it down in the comments. I'll have a look, and maybe I can take that with Anand and have another video about this based on your feedback too. The other thing which I want to talk about is what is happening with all this news about Trump and Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy talking about cutting federal jobs and cutting the deficit in the US by $2 trillion. That is a massive amount of money. We're talking about a sudden shock to the system if they do decide to do this. Will they do this spending cut? I don't know. It is very hard to predict what will happen, because anytime we think this is not usually done, these things are very difficult to do. The world seems to be showing us that it can do what it wants when it wants. So if it does happen, it is going to lead to a severe shock in the system, and it will do a lot of things to the American dollar, and it can send things into a deflationary spiral, because suddenly a lot of federal workers in the US would be laid off. This will push prices down because unemployment will go up, and might lead to a deflationary spiral. That is one speculation. The other is the treasury yield. What will happen there is another speculation. So it seems to be we'll have to wait and watch and to see what it happens if this thing is pushed through and they try to do this implementation. What is very apparent is Trump doesn't want any roadblocks, and he seems to be very keen on making sure there's no roadblocks ahead. He's very aware that he's got 2 years in which he can do a lot before he may lose control in the midterms and not be able to do what he wants to do in the second half of his presidency. So he's very keen that he comes out guns blazing and he tries to implement much as he can as soon as he can. And that's what he seems to have in mind. But what these things are and how they all plan out is something we'll have to wait and watch and keep a close eye and see what happens. So Reserve Bank of India also has to manage this and will be keeping an eye on this and seeing what happens. Now coming to what happens to Indian shores and what we have to pay attention to this week ahead. When I was talking about RBI, everyone is wondering if RBI is going to cut interest rate. RBI's main concern in India right now is inflation. And inflation has not cooled off and it's been ticking around, going higher and crawling up again. So I don't see any motivation for RBI to cut interest rates, because by cutting interest rate, it will only fuel inflation further. So in this current situation, this is where RBI stands. Until and unless we hear something different, then we can assume this week we're not going to see anything happening in the realm of RBI. So if that is taken into consideration, inflation the way it is, most of these staple stocks which we're seeing, they've already come out with their own quarterly reports, and all of them look abysmal and they look rather sad. That is why companies like Tata Consumers from 1,200 has dropped down to 900, and probably this week it can even go below 900 if the selling pressure continues. ITC has also been under pressure, and all these companies show that right now inflation seems to be biting into their earnings, and you can see it very clearly in the stock price. Meanwhile, the companies which are doing well, which is in the pharma and IT, is because of the dollar strengthening, and those companies seem to be the ones which are doing fairly better compared to these companies. But with the way things are going globally, we do not know how much this dollar strengthening is going to help, because we have to see how global trade also works out under the new Trump administration. Because end of the day, yes, if the dollar is getting stronger and the rupee is getting weaker, it's great news. But that's only great news if you have orders and you have orders to do and you have money coming in. If you don't have that, then the dollar strengthening or weakening is of no use to you. So keep that in mind. So do keep an eye on these news cycles of how these IT companies and pharma companies are securing orders and what they're sharing in media, and try to keep an eye out on that would be my advice. So this will give you some kind of reading on where it's going, at least in the short term. In the long term, they will all do well, because like I said earlier, Trump is only there for 4 years. Post-Trump, things will start changing towards the next president or the next form of government which comes in the United States, which can be a Democrat or Republican, and their vision and what they wish to carry forward from that point on. So remember, these cycles, they're not permanent, written in stone. They keep fluctuating, they keep moving. So when you see value, you should definitely take advantage of it. Now, when we are speaking of value, what are we going to see in this week, which is going to be of value? I do feel we will continue seeing a downward trend, and the FIIs may slow down their selling in India because of a news article which I was reading that is stating that CLSA, which is a huge investment firm based out of Hong Kong, which invests in India, have been one of the key in FIIs who have been taking money out of India in great spirits and taking it to China. They have that brokerage firm has now said they're thinking about reversing their stance because of growing concerns in the Chinese economy and the investor sentiment there, which is what they're feeling. And they're going to look at reversing this position which they were looking at. If not reversing, maybe even slowing down of this selling fire sale which they were doing in India and taking funds across to China. So that is something curious. I do not know if it is just some kind of speculation or if it's actual actionable information. So this is something to watch. There might come slowing down FFIs in India selling spree, and I don't know if the reversing will be as snap fast, as quick as this, because this is just one investment firm, a large one, who just come out saying this in the news. We'll actually have to wait and watch. So FII sales this week also, I do believe, will continue happening. The DIIs will try and support as much as they can. So the certain specific stocks which we always look at might be getting into more favorable territories. That's why I keep saying, be slow in your investment. Don't be overzealous and buy too much. Because the tendency is you read a news article like this saying the foreign equity investors are looking to come back to India. Monday morning, you might feel suddenly, oh no, if they come back, prices are going to go back up again. I might miss an opportunity. Let me go and buy everything I have. I throw into the market, and the FIs will come back and things will go back up, and I'll sell everything and make a sweet profit. No, it doesn't work like that, because you cannot go based on these kind of articles and news. So please be slow, be methodical, and keep investing in tiffin coffee ranges. When we do reach places where we can afford to spend a lunch or a dinner or an entire day or even a holiday, I'll be more than happy to tell you this information. We are nowhere near that. The market, if anything, is extremely volatile, like how I was discussing with Natco in a previous video, showing you how in a single day price can move up and down very violently by 4-5%, and that can really hurt for someone who's a small investor like you and me. So companies which I would want you to keep in consideration are our Dr. Reddy's, our Natcos, our Tata Motors, Manappuram. IndusInd Bank might also come under more pressure if it breaks the 1,000 rupee barrier, and if it's something you would like to, you can think about. As far as gold is concerned, gold is in a losing spree right now. I do feel it's temporal, so it's an opportunity to consume some gold if you require gold, or if you're trying to achieve a target like what Anand has set out for everyone, then you can add some more gold into your account. Especially if you do not know what to buy and you're feeling rather nervous about what is all happening with all this news which I'm giving you, and you're finding it all very hard to understand and wrap your head around, then you can just keep buying some gold and keep moving along. Even there, I would not buy tons of gold. I would buy tiffin coffee ranges of gold. So keep all this in mind as you play out this week. So this is what it's a week ahead is what I feel. I'll try and conclude, make a follow-up on this by Friday, on Friday's video at least, and touch upon what we spoke on Sunday and try to take a stock of what happened, what we said on Sunday, and by end of the week, did any of that pan out? Did any of this happen? We'll take a stock of it, so as a review. So we can do this as an exercise, which I encourage you guys to do in our chat 52-week challenge group, where I say, set your intent for the week, then end of the week, take a stock of it and see what happened. It's a very stoic thing to do, to set out a goal and then to see if you're able to achieve any of these goals. Instead of writing it down, we're doing it as a video exercise. So Friday, I promise, we will revisit this video, Sunday's video, in a quick wrap-up and see if all the things we laid out came in alignment of what we thought. If it didn't, we'll try and understand where we went wrong. So we'll do this as a week-on-week exercise and hope to improve as investors as we all learn together. Thanks for watching the video. Do have a wonderful week ahead. Stay invested, and I'll see you again on Monday. Thank you.
Thanks for your support for Birich. For those who are in North India or who are outside India, you have friends who know Hindi, or if you know Hindi, please subscribe to my channel, Paisa Boltha Hai. I give the same content which I do in Tamil in that. And this is for people who want to follow me in Hindi. Birich has slightly different content. Thank you for supporting Birich, and I'll be around here.